I'm on a mission to reach my first 1,000 subscribers, and I need your support. If you love movies, reviews, and great stories, hit that subscribe button and join me on this journey. Thank you.
Two mud-covered Land Rover Defender 110s roared into the base. A man with a long scar over his right eye, his expression cold and calculating, stepped out of the vehicle. This man was known as Oliver, a specialist in illicit dealings, particularly in laundering money for terrorist organizations. This time, a mysterious figure named George had introduced him to the rebels. Oliver had just received $100 million from the insurgents. Without hesitation, he called his people, ordering them to short sell the stock of an airline. However, his assistant informed him that the airline's stock was currently on the rise, meaning that short selling would result in a loss. But Oliver had already planned. He confidently stated that he had a way to make the stock price plummet. Under the blazing summer sun of Madagascar, a crowd of locals was engrossed in a snake fight, a popular form of entertainment in the region. Meanwhile, William and his female assistant, Vesper Lind, were secretly monitoring a terrorist known for bomb-making. The burn scars covering his face were proof of his extensive experience with explosives. Just then, the terrorist received an encrypted message, 3 dots. The moment he saw the message, he turned to leave, only to realize he was being followed. He immediately bolted. William pursued him from a construction site to a high suspension bridge and back down to the ground. The terrorist was more agile, but William relied on his endurance and relentless determination to keep up. The terrorist ran into his country's consulate, thinking he was safe, but William quickly climbed onto a truck and leapt over the fence into the consulate's courtyard without hesitation. He stormed into the consul's office, knocked out the terrorist, and dragged him out. Alarmed, the consul pressed the emergency alarm. Armed soldiers wielding Alaska 47s stormed in, firing at William. He dragged the terrorists to the back courtyard, where they were surrounded. In a swift move, William let go of the terrorist, pulled a handgun from his belt, and shot him dead before firing at a nearby gas tank. When the smoke cleared, William had vanished without a trace. William found the assembled bomb and a cell phone in the terrorist's pocket. He also noticed the mysterious 3-dot message. His reckless actions in Africa had infuriated the female head of MI6. She was furious, scolding him for killing the terrorist instead of capturing him for interrogation. Now, the lead was dead. She even lamented the end of the Cold War, a time when troublesome agents like William would be executed for treason. When she returned home that night, she was startled to find William already waiting in her living room. Still furious, she berated him, bluntly pointing out his flaws, reckless arrogance and an overinflated ego. She placed him on extended leave to reflect on his actions and warned him never to enter her home uninvited again. But William had a purpose for his visit. Before she returned home, he had secretly accessed her computer to trace the origin of the message sent to the terrorist's phone, the Ocean Club Hotel in the Bahamas. Determined to follow this lead on his own, William traveled to the Bahamas, driving a Ford Mel towards the Ocean Club. As he reached the hotel entrance, he bent down, pretending to tie his shoe. But in reality, he was surveying the positions of the security cameras. However, 2 arrogant old men mistook him for a valet. Playing along, William took their Land Rover Range Rover Sport and deliberately crashed it into a parking barrier, setting off a chorus of blaring car alarms. As the hotel security rushed out, he seized the opportunity to slip into the surveillance room. There was no one inside. William checked the timestamp of the message on the terrorist's phone, 7 p.m. July 6th. He rewound the security footage to that moment and spotted a man stepping out of a 1974 Aston Martin DB5. Composing a text message, William approached the hotel receptionist, claiming that he had accidentally hit an Aston Martin and wanted to find its owner to apologize. The chatty receptionist eagerly spilled everything about the man, from his name and home address to his personality and hobbies. William learned that the man was named Demetrios. William tracked Demetrios to his seaside home, where he unexpectedly encountered a beautiful woman riding a white horse, Seng. Demetrios' wife. With his rugged physique and piercing gaze, William immediately caught Seng's attention. Seducing married women was one of William's specialties. Back in his hotel room, William used MI6 a database to research Demetrios and discovered his close ties to Oliver. That night, William visited the hotel casino, where Demetrios was gambling. William joined the poker table. A while later, Seng appeared. William noticed that the couple's relationship seemed distant. In one round, Demetrios bet his Aston Martin, convinced he had an unbeatable hand. He smirked at William, exuding confidence. William, in turn, smiled and called the bet. Demetrios revealed a pair of kings, a strong hand. He smirked in victory, but when William revealed his cards, 2 aces, Demetrios' smile vanished. William had won. Enraged, Demetrios received a note, glanced at it, and stormed off. He had an urgent matter to attend to. The person he met was Oliver. The two were clearly associates. Demetrios had provided the bomb maker, while Oliver was the mastermind financing the operation. This explained Oliver's confidence in the airline stock's decline. He had planned to orchestrate an airport bombing to manipulate the stock market. However, Oliver was dissatisfied with Demetrios. To regain his favor, Demetrios promised to find a replacement for the failed bomb attempt. Meanwhile, William successfully seduced Seng. Not only did he win Demetrios' car, but he also conquered his wife. But this wasn't just about pleasure. William intended to extract information from Seng about Demetrios' plans. Seng revealed that Demetrios would be at the Miami Boulevard Museum that night. William hurried to the location, where he saw Demetrios leave a black briefcase and receive a claim ticket numbered 53. William trailed him but was discovered. Demetrios pulled a gun on William. A silent struggle ensued. William swiftly overpowered him and seized his phone. The last message sent from it was the same three-dot code. He had found the right target. However, when William turned back, the claim ticket had vanished. William rushed to the baggage counter, but the briefcase was gone. Outside, he spotted a young man in a dark jacket carrying a black briefcase. He followed him all the way to the airport. The man's briefcase passed security without issue. It wasn't a bomb but a security uniform. The man changed into the uniform and used a passcode to enter a restricted area. William recalled the three-dot message and tried entering it as a code. The door unlocked. The terrorist, now disguised as an airport security officer, hijacked a fuel truck, attaching a keychain bomb to it before speeding toward a newly unveiled passenger jet. At the last moment, William leapt onto the truck. A brutal struggle ensued. The terrorist broke free and jumped off. William attempted to brake, only to realize the brakes had been sabotaged. With no choice, he swerved at the last second, narrowly avoiding the aircraft. Security forces arrested him, while the terrorist, smirking from a distance, detonated the bomb. However, the beeping sound came from his own pocket. William had secretly switched the bomb onto him. The terrorist was blown to pieces. Oliver's plan failed, costing him over $100 million. Oliver, outwardly calm but inwardly furious, suspected a mole. The next day, William discovered Solon's lifeless body on the beach near the Ocean Club Hotel. The MI6 director arrived at the scene. Since William had successfully prevented a terrorist bombing, she informed him of his next mission. Oliver had lost all the insurgents' money, so he organized a high-stakes poker game at Casino Royale in Montenegro. Only 10 players were invited, each required to buy in with $15 million. The winner would take the entire $150 million pot. Oliver, a skilled gambler, aimed to recover his losses. MI6 decided to send William to participate in the game. If he could ensure Oliver's defeat, MI6 would protect him in exchange for valuable intelligence. The British government provided William with $15 million. However, due to the substantial amount, the Treasury assigned a female agent to accompany him and oversee the funds. His beautiful partner was Vesper Lind. Intelligent and alluring, she had an unfavorable first impression of William. She didn't trust him enough to give him the full amount at once, only providing an initial $10 million. This irritated William. The two constantly clashed. "Don't worry, you're not my type. Smart and single," he quipped. Upon arriving at the hotel, William received the keys to his special vehicle. His trusted companion finally appeared, a silver Aston Martin DBS. The car was equipped with a 6.0-liter V12 engine, a 6-speed Graziano manual transmission, over 500 horsepower, and could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.3 seconds. It was the quintessential 007 car. A secret compartment housed a medical kit, antidotes, and a silenced Browning HP pistol. William and Vesper Lind contacted their local informant, Mattis, the only intelligence agent stationed there. With Mattis' assistance, William smoothly entered the poker game. At first, he suffered continuous losses, but he noticed a subtle tell from Oliver whenever he intended to bluff. His left eye would twitch slightly, and he would brush his eyebrow to conceal it. William planned to exploit this weakness in later rounds. William ordered a martini, revealing his refined taste in drinks. During the break, Oliver returned to his room. Unexpectedly, the leader of the African rebel faction was waiting for him. Furious, he gave Oliver 1 day to return the money or face execution. As the leader left, he noticed William and Vesper eavesdropping in the adjacent room. A chase ensued. A brutal fight broke out in the emergency stairwell, spilling from the upper floors to the ground level. The rebel leader reached for a fallen gun. Sensing danger, Vesper intervened, knocking the weapon away. In the end, William strangled the rebel leader to death. As an accountant with no experience in violence, Vesper trembled in fear after witnessing the brutal scene. She locked herself in the bathroom, desperately trying to wash the blood off her hands. But to no avail. Seeing her distress, William unexpectedly felt sympathy. He sat beside her and held her tightly, offering her warmth. His icy heart seemed to thaw just a little. The poker game resumed. The 5 community cards on the table were 2 jacks, 2 kings, and an ace. William's whole cards were a king and an ace. This combination formed a full house. A powerful hand. Seeing Oliver hesitate, William bet $2 million. Oliver contemplated for a moment before going all in. The pressure was on William. If he folded, he would lose his $2 million bet. If he called, he had to risk everything. Like before, he saw Oliver touch his eyebrow and assumed he was bluffing. William decided to go all in. Both players revealed their cards. William had a full house, 3 kings and 2 aces. Oliver flipped his cards, 2 jacks, forming 4 of a kind. 4 of a kind outranks a full house. Oliver won the entire pot. As he left, he smirked at William. "Did you really think you had me, Mr. William?" Losing all $10 million. William was livid. He wanted to borrow the remaining $5 million from Vesper, but she refused, believing he was too reckless and overconfident. Frustrated, William watched Oliver swagger past him. His rage boiled over. He grabbed a knife from the dining table and pursued Oliver. However, before he could act, a bearded man intercepted him. This man was Felix Leiter, a CIA agent and William's counterpart. Leiter had lost his stake even faster than William and was nearly out of funds. He proposed a deal. He would provide William with the remaining money. If William won, the CIA would take Oliver. And what about the winnings? William asked. Leiter scoffed. You think we Americans need money? Taking Leiter's funds, William returned to the table. This time, he played aggressively, quickly amassing a considerable stack. Oliver grew anxious and resorted to cheating. He had a waiter spike William's martini with poison. William drank it, unsuspecting, and immediately felt unwell. He left the table, struggling to maintain his composure. He grabbed a glass and salt shaker from a nearby table and rushed to the restroom. By then, dizziness had overtaken him. He hastily swallowed salt water, forcing himself to vomit. William staggered back to his car and called MI6. Following the medical team's instructions, he injected himself with an antidote. But as he tried to use the defibrillator, he pressed the button multiple times with no response. The wires weren't connected. His heart stopped, and he blacked out. At the last moment, Vesper arrived. She quickly plugged in the wires and activated the defibrillator, reviving William. As soon as he regained consciousness, he returned to the poker table. Oliver was visibly shaken. Only he and William remained. The final round began. The community cards were 2 aces, a 4, a 6, and an 8. William confidently went all in. Oliver smirked and did the same. The total pot had reached $150 million. The decisive moment had arrived. Oliver revealed his hand first, 2 aces and a 6, forming an extremely strong full house, 3 aces and a pair of 6s. He looked at William triumphantly, convinced of his victory. William then turned over his cards, a 5 and a 7. This completed a straight flush, a 5-card straight of the same suit. A hand stronger than a full house. William won. Furious, Oliver stormed off. William, feeling generous, tipped the dealer $500. After all, it wasn't his money. As William stepped out of the hotel, he saw Vesper being kidnapped by a group of men. He rushed to his Aston Martin DBS and sped off in pursuit. As he crested a hill, he was horrified to see Vesper lying unconscious in the road. Swerving sharply, he lost control of the car, spinning multiple times before blacking out. William was taken to an abandoned warehouse, stripped of his clothes, and tied to a chair. Oliver appeared and used brutal interrogation methods to force William to reveal the bank account password. Despite the torture, William endured the pain, refusing to speak. At that moment, the warehouse doors swung open. George, Oliver's accomplice, entered and shot Oliver dead. When William regained consciousness, the first person he saw was Vesper. By this time, she had fallen in love with him, and William had also developed deep feelings for her. The Casino Royale director approached William to transfer the $150 million winnings and asked for the bank account password. William told Vesper to enter it for him. The password was her name. This act broke down Vesper's final emotional barrier, and she fully gave in to her love for William. The two spent blissful days together. William considered leaving behind his dangerous life to settle down with the woman he loved. On a train to Venice, he even wrote a resignation letter to M. However, a professional spy could never lead a normal life. Their tragic fate had already been sealed from the beginning. That day, Vesper went out shopping while William stayed in their hotel room. Suddenly, he received a call from M. Her words shattered William's dream. She asked why the money had not yet been transferred to the government's account. William assumed it had already been done when he gave Vesper the password. Panicking, he rushed out to find Vesper. Eventually, he tracked her down in a narrow alley, where she was handing over the money to a mysterious organization. The moment they noticed William, a violent shootout erupted inside an old building. The intense firefight caused structural damage, breaking the air pockets within the foundation. The building slowly started collapsing into the water. William eliminated all his enemies, but Vesper was trapped in an old elevator as it sank below the surface. William dove into the water to save her. However, Vesper pushed him away. She felt guilty and wanted to free herself from the burden of betrayal. William managed to pull her to the surface, but despite his efforts, she had already turned into a lifeless body. The mysterious George had escaped with the $150 million. Over the phone, M revealed the truth about Vesper. She had a boyfriend whom she deeply loved. After William won the poker game, the organization behind Oliver kidnapped Vesper's lover, forcing her to steal the money. She had no choice but to comply. However, she had also fallen for William. Overwhelmed with guilt, she ultimately chose death. William once again became the cold and ruthless agent he was meant to be. This unfinished love was buried deep in his heart. But before returning, he was determined to uncover the real mastermind. In Vesper's phone, he found a message from George. That was his next target. A sleek black Jaguar XJR8 pulled up in front of a luxurious mansion. The car, powered by a 4.0-liter V8 engine, could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 6.9 seconds. George stepped out, leisurely admiring the scenery. Suddenly, his phone rang. "Hello, is this Mr. George? Who are you?" "My name is William." Moments later, William took position from above and shot George dead with cold precision. The 2006 film Casino Royale was the 21st installment in the James Bond series and marked Daniel Craig's debut as 007. Perhaps influenced by the Bourne series, Craig's portrayal of Bond differed significantly from previous versions. He was no longer just a suave gentleman who solved problems with high-tech gadgets. Instead, he was a flawed, battle-scarred agent who made mistakes, acted on impulse, and was capable of deep emotions. This version of Bond resonated with audiences, making him more relatable and likable. Casino Royale could be seen as the start of a new Bond era. From this point, William would embark on a relentless quest for revenge, uncovering the secrets of the mysterious criminal organization, and engaging in an unyielding battle against them. Today's story comes to an end, but the journey of exploring great movies continues. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any exciting upcoming videos. Also, leave a comment sharing your thoughts on the movie. Your support is the biggest motivation for me to create even more quality content. See you in the next video.